Hi, my name is Joe Lowry, sound designer and producer based in Los Angeles, California, and welcome to another episode of Sips and Synths. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. In this episode, we're going to be recreating one of my favorite songs from one of my favorite bands and one of the coolest sounds from the Red Hot Chili Peppers song, Universally Speaking. Let me play that for you real quick. So if you can hear, it's that little repeating phrase in the background over and over again. That's what we're going to be recreating today. While filming this episode, I'll be drinking another one from Dune Coffee Roasters, and it's called La Palma, and it comes all the way from Guatemala. It's a washed Caturra, and it tastes like melon, red apple, and brown sugar. As an extra, I'm going to be eating this pepper throughout the episode. We'll see how that goes. Probably not well. It's good. Let me tell you a little bit about where I think the sound came from. Around the time this song was being recorded, around 2001, for the album, by the way, by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, John Frusciante, the guitar player, was using a new Line 6 pedal, a filter modeler called the FM4. He apparently still uses it to this day. Packed into this delay unit was a model called Seeker, which was a sequenced pattern of different wah filter positions. Here is my original Crybaby that my dad bought for me when I was 16. Thanks, Dad. For those of you who don't know, a wah pedal essentially lets you sweep with your foot a bandpass filter with some resonance. That's essentially what we're going to be recreating today, a stepped and sequenced bandpass filter. All right, let's cross the streams and roast some peppers. Oh, God. Okay, let me play you the song one more time. I'm looking at this sound recreation in 3 steps or parts: the filter setting, the pattern of the filter, and effects. First, the filter. On the screen, you will see the frequency response of a Crybaby wah pedal, and we can see essentially that this is a bandpass filter with some resonance. We can also see the same thing in this image. Now, there are entire articles dedicated to the circuitry and the frequency response of wah pedals because it's a little more complicated than just a bandpass filter. But for this video, I think using a bandpass filter with resonance moving from around 350 to 2000 hertz is enough. Okay. Oh, a lot of seeds in there. John Frusciante is obviously a guitar player, but we're going to use a piano because it doesn't really matter what instrument you're using. It's really all about the effect. So let me play you the piano real quick. Now I'm going to engage the filter. I set this on bandpass here. I have 24 dB. Res is in the middle. Frequency is starting around 328. So let's hear how that sounds. I'm going to sweep this just so you can hear what it sounds like. All right. Now the key here for this part is to automate this frequency knob and make it stepped. And for that, I'm going to use a very cool Max for Live device called Steps. And you can essentially draw in any pattern you want. So we're going to draw in just a pattern that I think is happening on the record. I'm hearing 16 steps in the song, so I have 16 steps here. You can change how many steps you want in steps, which is awesome. So I hear 16 steps going all the way up to a peak and then going back down. So that's the pattern I'm hearing. Once we have our pattern, I'm going to map it to the frequency cutoff. And then I'm also going to map it to the resonance because I want the resonance to kind of peak as it goes higher and then come down. Let's hear how that sounds real quick. Awesome. I also want the attack. I want this piano to swell in. I don't really want the beginning notes so much. I'm also going to use LFO tool here to kind of sculpt the attack amount. So here you can see I have a pattern that just will cut off kind of like the intro of the sound for every bar. So let's hear how that sounds. Cool. I'm going to add some saturation here just to give it a little more oomph. So I have the drive pretty high up here. So I'm kind of imagining John Frusciante using a distortion pedal before this delay unit. So let's hear how that sounds real quick. All right, it's just giving it a little more for the filter to play with. Okay, so now we have the filter setting and the pattern, and now we're going to move on to effects. So I'm going to add just a quick delay to kind of fatten it up. Feedback is low, set on 2. I don't know what this means. I don't know why Ableton has these random numbers. I don't know what they are. Dry wet, a little below 50%. Let's hear how that sounds. Awesome. Another effect I think is really important to this sound is a chorus. I should have brought this up earlier, but I also have the utility here in Ableton where I'm not mixing it down to mono. I don't want any phase issues. I'm just using the left side, like pretending, there's a mic in the room recording an amp. So I'm going to use a chorus here. Feedback pretty high, wet at 50%, obviously, because you want the chorus, you want the effect to rub against the dry signal. Amount's pretty high, rate kind of lowish, not too fast. So let's just hear how that sounds. I love that. Final effect I'm going to add is a compressor just to keep things a little tame. Take one more bite of the pepper and then hit play. So I think that sounds pretty good even without reverb, but let's just hear what this sounds like with some reverb. Mix is pretty high. Decay's low because I don't want a bunch of frequencies interfering and causing weird... Because we have the resonance pretty high. Oh, I also have drive up here just to add, again, more oomph. But let's hear how that sounds. Well, thanks for joining us on this episode of Sips and Synths. Hit the like button, subscribe, share the video with your local pepper grower, and don't forget to eat a pepper when you use a filter stepper. See you next time.